Welcome to the Stronger Than Your Boyfriend podcast, a podcast for anyone into fitness.
Especially all you impatient motherfuckers.
We are Heather and Katie, owners of Barpath Fitness, here to help you sift through the bullshit and toxic misinformation that permeates the fitness industry. Today, we are talking about instant gratification.
For all you impatient mothers.
Yeah, so why do humans crave immediate reward? Well, it's not necessarily always your fault.
Yes.
Our brains evolved in scarcity environments. Grabbing food, grabbing a mate, or safe shelter, like right now, was pretty important, right? It kept us alive. So delayed rewards were actually a gamble in those times. You might not live to collect said reward.
Yes.
So dopamine isn't just a pleasure chemical, as we think it is. I mean, it is, but it's also a motivation chemical, and it spikes in anticipation of a reward, and rightly so. So that's why scrolling, swiping, snacking for pleasure feels so magnetic and hard to break out of. Modern life hijacks this ancient survival system that we all have.
Yeah, and modern life also creates it really hard to break these, I don't know if you can call them habits. They're kind of bad habits. And I don't know, they can get pretty deep. I mean, as far as bad habits go. But okay, what are we talking about when we're talking about instant gratification? Examples of this in everyday life, like we were just saying, social media. Social media is probably the worst offender right now because it is just something you can easily pull up on your phone. Everyone has iPhones, everyone has these apps downloaded, everyone has accounts, and I bet there are trillions of videos between TikTok and Instagram, right? I mean, you can just
Unlimited.
I mean, you could just continue to scroll. Yeah. And, obviously the way that these apps and the algorithms are created is to get you and keep you addicted. So you're playing with fire with that, and it's really hard to stop, especially if you've grown up with it, which luckily we didn't. No. I'm actually really happy I didn't grow up with an iPhone. Yeah. Because I feel like we'd probably all be like the kids are now. So, but it's other, I guess, less intense examples of this. So like when you see a parent with a crying kid and they want that kid to stop crying and they just give that kid a treat in the moment. So they stop throwing a fit. That's instant gratification.
Or an iPad.
Yeah, or an iPad. Is that gonna, and again, I'm not a parent. I ain't telling a parent what to do. Yeah. Do you? But like, will that teach the kid in the long run anything other than if I throw a fit, I'll get what I want? No, probably not, if you continuously do that. Or if we're talking about fitness/health, giving into cravings. So, if you're just really wanting some ice cream and cookies for dinner instead of a balanced whole food meal, I mean, that's an exaggeration, and I understand that, but it's when you're trying not to and you just want something that feels good, you eat that cookie, you eat the ice cream, right? Skipping your workout because you're tired. That it feels good to not work out, but actually I would argue it feels better to work out. Yeah. It's just really hard to start when you're feeling like you don't want to work out. It's hard to start. It doesn't feel good to start. And I think it's more mentally than anything versus physically, because usually when you do your workout, you feel better. Online shopping, that's a hard one. I wasn't looking at you. I wasn't looking at you.
It me.
It's the apps. I mean, you could literally go on Amazon and scroll and add to cart and add to cart and add to cart. And it's dopamine hit. Yeah. But then you won't have any money left if you just continue to do that unless you're rich. Definitely. But again, these companies study this. They know how dopamine hits work. As far as if we're talking about like the online shopping, the social media, et cetera, and even the processed foods. Yeah. There's food scientists. Yeah. Someone told me they knew someone who's a food scientist who literally works on engineering processed foods to be hyper palatable so that you become addicted to it. Wow. So, I mean, if it's really as simple as you posting something on Instagram and you getting likes for that, and you seeing those likes, that's a dopamine hit. That's instant gratification. Yeah. Right? So your brain wants this, and if you continue feeding it wants more and more of it. And again, kind of just like being active in modern life and being fit and eating healthy, you have to go out of your way to do that stuff because modern society makes it really hard. Same thing with this. You have to go out of your way to delay gratification. Yes. And it's a lot better in the end when you do that. So
it totally is. Yeah. And I will say that I'm terrible at this.
Yeah, I mean,
I love
I'm sure you gotten better.
comfort, convenience. No, I haven't
Yeah.
gotten better. Okay, I have awareness though. I'm in awareness
Yeah.
stage, you know.
Yeah.
To fix a problem, you have to be aware.
Oh yeah, it's the aware. Isn't there 4 stages?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. There was
But
something with that.
I will say that it felt very validating when I was diagnosed with ADHD.
Yes.
Because impulsivity is how hyperactivity manifests when you're older.
Yeah.
Especially as a woman.
Yeah.
And so for me, being like high performing and all this stuff,
Yeah.
the impulsivity
Yeah.
is like, it's both a control mechanism, like trying to regain control of something when
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
stressed,
yeah.
and it's me just, you know, wanting instant gratification. But I know it and I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
And so maybe I am getting better.
And
I'm trying.
I honestly think it's okay to give into instant gratification if you're aware. I think people just do it all the time because it's our default.
Yeah.
And they haven't, you know, there's a balance. If you're also actively delaying gratification,
Right.
I feel like some instant gratification, because if you're talking about health and fitness and cravings, it's like
Yeah.
you're gonna get your period, you're gonna give in, who fucking cares? You know, it's
Yeah.
like one time. So it's more about, are you just living that way?
Yeah,
Because
totally.
then you're probably not necessarily like the highest performer at your job. I mean, you have to like, these are skills that you develop.
Yeah.
And maybe that's not necessarily the case, but I think there's a lot of correlation between like high performers and delayed gratification. And
Oh,
you know,
there are.
Yeah.
There definitely are. And I do think that I have weird coping mechanisms.
Mm-hmm.
So I just find the next thing that interests me and I use that as instant gratification versus the thing I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So basically like procrastination.
Yeah.
But because I'm doing something productive, it's not like super harmful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I don't really do this with working out and food. I do just kind of, I just don't have the food at my house that I
Right.
want.
Yeah,
I'm craving.
same.
That's like the biggest thing. It's just not available.
Yeah.
So I can't give into that. And then with working out, I just know how important it is.
Yeah. I
So,
just,
yeah.
it's worth it sometimes.
Well, have you ever heard of the Marshmallow Study?
I have heard of this.
Oh,
It's
you
a very
have?
famous study.
Yes.
It's with the kids. Yeah.
Yes, the
I think there
kids.
is some okay. Go over the study. I'll talk about the backlash about it,
Yeah.
but it's kind of obvious when you think about it. So go ahead.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I
Okay.
have some notes in here on that too,
Yeah.
for sure. There was a study back in the 60s, so
Yeah.
a very old study.
Yeah.
And they took these kids around age 4 and they were put in a room with a single treat, like a marshmallow. And the researcher gave the kid a choice, said, eat the marshmallow now or wait 15 minutes until I come back and I'll give you a second treat.
Yeah.
So you'll get 2 if you wait.
Yeah.
And children use various strategies to resist. So they would like cover their eyes, turn their backs, sing, whatever. And decades later, they did a follow-up study, and the data from this suggested the children who were able to wait longer for the second reward had significantly better life outcomes,
Yes.
according to the study. Higher SAT scores, lower BMI, actually, lower rates of substance abuse, better stress tolerance, stronger relationships,
Yeah.
et cetera. But there are critiques, if you want to talk about some, and then I'll talk about
Well, the
some.
main critique was, this was the 60s, these were all little white kids, and they're all very privileged. And that's another thing to talk about with this, because it's really hard when you're in survival mode, just like you're talking about how we evolved that way.
Yep.
We evolved out of the scarcity mindset, so if you're in survival mode, it's always about instant gratification because you're trying to survive. So yeah, it's kind of privileged to talk about this subject in general, to talk about delaying gratification because you can. So that is also a point that I was going to make, but also that is a critique nowadays about this study.
Yes,
So
100%.
I mean, I'm assuming they're all white kids because
I
that's
didn't
what they
actually
did.
look, but
I'm assuming it was the 60s, so we can assume.
One of the bigger critiques is, no matter the race, definitely lower income background
yeah,
in general
it's yeah.
will eat the marshmallow immediately.
And I'm not-
because
yeah.
resources are scarce.
I'm not. Yeah, it has nothing to do with race. It's about socioeconomic status.
Which
but let's
does
correlate
have to do with
that. That
race,
correlates to
100%.
non-white people. So
100%.
and lower.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's also safety. So
Yeah.
another critique of the study, in 2012, they found that if a child perceives the researcher as unreliable, they're a lot less likely to wait.
Yeah.
So they kind of, I don't know if they redid this study, but they basically found
Yeah.
that if there's not trust,
Yeah.
why would they trust that you're coming back with a second
Exactly.
marshmallow? They're a fucking kid.
That's actually, I mean, that's a really good critique too.
Yeah.
And I think the overarching theme of it is, yes, okay, if you have that natural inclination to do that, yeah, you're probably better off in a lot of areas, but
I don't know.
I
I'm
don't
really
know.
bad at it, and I'm awesome.
yeah. I don't know, like that's what I'm saying. Again, this isn't to shit on it, but if we're relating it to health and fitness, which obviously we are, generally doing that, like not working out, that would be instant gratification. You don't want to fucking do it, don't fucking do it.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, we want you to work out, we want you to push past that. We don't want you to eat chips and cookies for every meal, but some meals is fine.
Yeah.
So, and how does instant gratification affect mental health? I don't know if that's talked about enough.
Yeah, I think that's important to point out because we're not just even talking about like food and exercise, right? We're also talking about like you're talking about mental health and your phones and just constant things that are making us basically you have these micro hits of dopamine all throughout your day now, constantly.
Yeah.
And it's raising your baseline tolerance, meaning everyday life starts to feel a little boring and flat.
And you want to know
not getting it.
You want to know why? It's because the social media is unearned dopamine.
Right.
When you earn dopamine hits, you can get them more often, like as many as you want. But if they're earned, if you work for them, it's a lot different.
That's what I do. Yeah. That's a good.
It's unearned.
I like that.
It's unearned if you just open up an app.
Yeah.
And I know that's probably a general way to say it, but
no, I think
if you think about it, you get the endorphins after you've put in the work of working out.
Yeah.
And even you can feel better in general if you eat a healthier meal, right? You get a dopamine hit when you hit that sugar, but when that sugar wears off, it's like a crash.
This is also why I truly believe that if you're like making your meals at home, you can give in a little bit.
Because you put in the work.
Yeah, there's something with creating and then doing the thing. Yes. Okay, I love that you separate it like that. Yeah. I that's what I do.
Yes.
And that's probably why I'm okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, again, and it's not...
My dopamine hits, I actually work for them, so that's
and sometimes you don't, and that's fine. Because we are all going to default to our natural instincts sometimes.
Totally.
We're not fucking perfect.
Yeah, the other thing that this constant dopamine does is it weakens our tolerance for distress.
Yes.
Right? Like our discomfort, like our tolerance for anything like that, our resilience can really take a hit when we just give it dopamine all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like doing anything all the time. If you just constantly live in a world where you're just like quick hits, it's just like I don't want to say it's like being a drug addict, but kind of. It kind of does similar things to the brain. Because drug addicts, they'll be addicted to a drug and then they want more and more of it. So it's kind of the same if you have all these quote unearned dopamine hits. So
there are some small benefits that can come with this whole system, right? Like quick wins. So you could use it to build momentum, which is something that I do.
True.
Like, you can build momentum, you can use it for motivation if you're starting something new and you get like immediate dopamine hit or positive feedback. Yeah. That's one of the fastest ways to build a skill because it keeps you interested.
Very true.
Small pleasures like coffee for me in the morning.
Love coffee, same.
Love my dopamine hit from my latte, that's fine.
So nice.
A song, things like that. They can regulate your mood and prevent burnout. So those are not necessarily bad. Like if that's where you're getting your dopamine hit. And it's not like, even if it's your guilty pleasure, like that's not too bad.
Right.
It can really help.
Yeah.
And it can be a legitimate coping tool, especially music, I think.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I think, again, it's more about what are you consistently doing all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you trying to actively like fight against the urges? It's like shopping. You can. The rule. I think people, maybe scientists, I don't know, talk about it. It's like we have online shopping now. It's not going anywhere. We all do it. But if you want to buy something and it's a want, just chill. Like maybe look at it, add it to your cart, but don't buy it.
Put it in your cart and leave.
Wait.
You'll get a discount.
Well, yeah. No, that's not what I'm getting at. That's not what I'm getting at.
But that's what I do.
Yeah. Or you get a discount, or you just might not want it anymore, or you might just be like, I don't need it. So
that's true.
It's like you're almost doing the act, but you're not. So because that's a hard one for people.
Yes,
nowadays.
I actually love, my favorite thing to do when I travel is to go into little stores and look at all the little handmade shit. And I don't even need to buy anything.
Yeah.
I like to window shop.
Yeah.
And so if you can do
that's
that online,
fine too.
that's fine. Waste an hour window shopping.
So
whatever.
That's one way to overcome instant gratification as far as shopping, or I mean even, man, I don't know. You could even do this at the grocery store. Like let's say you're really hungry and you put the cookies in your cart, okay? And then when you're in the checkout line, look at those cookies for a second and be like, do you really want them? And you probably do because they're delicious, but you might not. You might just be like, all right, put this back. I mean, that's another way, I guess, as far as relating it to health and fitness. But I think most of the time, it's awareness and figuring out how to practice pausing when whatever behavior you're trying to fix, whenever whatever urge strikes, just wait 5 to 10 minutes before you give in.
Yeah.
And I think that is a good tool to just build patience in general, but it creates awareness and mindfulness, which you could also build through meditation.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, you know, people aren't necessarily good at staying consistent with that. Hello, me.
Well, meditation is also a prime example of delayed gratification.
It is.
Especially when you start, right? Like when
it's horrible.
You sit there and you're like, okay,
what am I doing?
When is the goodness going to happen?
Yeah.
And it happens afterwards.
Exactly.
It's a built thing,
Yeah.
right? And so that is,
and it
you have to be disciplined.
Yes, and you will become more, and it's kind of funny to think about that because you're building delayed gratification through the practice of trying to delay gratification. You know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's like a 2-for-1 deal, and you get more in touch with your emotions, which the more in touch you are with yourself, the more you're able to do that.
Yes.
So, but again, everyone's situation is different, and it might not be feasible for some people, but if you can, I mean, there's little, like, almost like micro patience building exercises you could do, you know, for little things here and there. I don't know. So,
yeah, I think there's also a term called hyperbolic discounting.
Yeah.
Which I think is used in economics, actually.
Probably.
And it's when we drastically undervalue future rewards compared to the present reward. So, you know, that's why we skip the workout, we skip putting money in savings and we spend it on something, or even like hard conversations, you know, we skip those.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you do enough of that, you're in a shitty situation later in life.
Yeah, there was another, I don't know if it was a study, it was obviously more of like an observational one, just asking people, it was some big lump sum of money right now, or it was like $30 a day for the rest of your life. And most people would take the lump sum. But it's like if you...
okay, hold on.
But we're talking investment because I would probably take the lump sum.
My investment strategy would be.
Yeah, but I think it's more so for people to just like spend it.
Yes.
But no, I would actually take the lump sum right now and invest
and make a good decision.
Yeah, but I mean, again... So anyways, I think
money now is worth more than money later.
Money, yeah, okay. This is not a financial podcast.
It is not. It is not.
Yes. So, yeah, I think also visualizing the outcome as far as, especially when we're talking, bringing it back to working out and eating healthy.
Yeah.
Visualize, you know, hitting that PR in the gym. Visualize going to the gym. Even before you go, maybe you just need that to help you. Visualize you completing the workout. Visualize, you know, the you know, fit body that you want. You know, no, we're not necessarily like, don't only train for that, but you know, if it helps you to eat a little healthier and focus on your protein and visualize the muscle that you want to build. Let's go with that, you know? I don't know. So that I think helps, but all of it together is the best.
Don't we have a podcast where we talk about visualization?
Probably.
I think we do.
We sure do.
I don't remember when it was.
We've done so many now.
Yeah.
Seems like a lot.
We're pretty high up there.
Yeah, we are. So, yes, it's all like the snack example. It's like, don't keep it in your house.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's good advice because
although I do have ice cream in my freezer now, but it's these little teeny ones.
But that's fine. You can fit it into your calories for the day.
Oh, just a little teeny one.
Yeah. So I think always tell yourself it's okay to have it too, because we wouldn't ever want anyone to restrict. But the act of having to put on your shoes and going to drive to get ice cream or a chip, you probably won't do it. Although sometimes you will because there's Cold Stone down the street and you're like, that's fresh ice cream. And then you will.
For it.
But yeah, but how often are you really gonna do that?
Right.
Not often, probably like once in a while that you're actually gonna get your ass up and go. Because most of the time you're just wanting it just because. Yeah. Not, I mean, I guess when you're eating ice cream you want it just because always, but.
Pretty much.
I don't know. There's value to it.
Yeah.
You know, summertime.
Yeah.
My dad's town has the best ice cream in the world, Oinks.
Yeah, it's very good.
It's real good. You got to get it there. You can't
Michigan.
not.
Yeah.
But
very
anyways.
Good. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
That's it.
That's it. Peace out.